Good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey, Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. On the phone line, Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury. Also, Dave Windom, who has been navigating us through the coronavirus crisis, the Public Health Department. Morning, guys.
Morning.
So exciting news as the county is getting ready to submit to the state Phase 3 application. Is that right, Dave?
Well, actually, we submitted it yesterday, so it's important for people to know we're not in Phase 3, but we have applied to go to Phase 3.
Okay. And the process, you presented this to the Board of County Commissioners. They looked over your numbers, and all of you agreed that, yep, we should be right in line. Now that heads to the state's health department. And then how is this going to be different than the last time you first submitted to go to Phase 2?
So last time, we didn't hear anything from DOH really for several days. This time, I heard back from DOH right off the bat. So last night, we started getting some feedback on our plan and just asking a lot more questions. They're being a little more detailed in the review of the plan. So a lot of what they're looking for is demographics. Do we understand, who and what ages, sexes, that kind of stuff. So we're going through that process with them now. We'll be answering some more questions for them.
When it comes to the major changes between Phase 2 and Phase 3 for businesses like a restaurant, is this where we go from 25 to 50% capacity, or is it an even larger number or smaller number?
So we're going from 50% capacity to restaurants to 75%.
Wow.
And then on groups will be available up to 50 people. That's non-religious. So the churches have their own set of rules that have come out for Phase 3. Actually, came out in Phase 2. For Phase 3, there isn't going to be the same kind of guidance that's coming out from the state like they did in Phase 2. So Phase 2 had a long list of very specific industry requirements to get to make standards. In Phase 3, all we have so far is sporting events is essentially it. So what they've decided to do, instead of doing a very industry-specific guidance, we have the Safe Start Washington phase reopening plan that businesses can go to. So if they don't fall under a specific industry, they go look up this plan. It's a fill-in-the-blank plan for any business that doesn't fit these other requirements. And it's something they need to have on hand and explains everything they need to do to be compliant with Phase 3 requirements.
What's going on with face coverings in Mason County? I see there are businesses that have signs out front stipulating masks need to be worn in the business. Is this a mandate for the businesses from either the state or the county health departments, or is this a business by business, their comfortability?
So it is business by business, but it is, our health officer did come out with a strong recommendation for all businesses to require people to wear masks. I mean, he's asking for anyone who's out in public to please wear a mask. The state did require, though, in the requirements for businesses to reopen, that employees wear masks when they can't meet the social distancing requirements, or they're not working in cubicles by themselves or working in offices by themselves.
Are you concerned at all about the uptick in cases across the state and the country? Is this because of more tests that are coming out, or are these the results of the first part of Phase 2 reopening? And I'm not necessarily talking about Mason County in particular, but once we saw areas that opened back up, the gatherings came, and we're starting to see reports of pockets, hotspots that are starting to bubble up.
Well, we asked that question last week of Seattle, Tacoma, and those areas that had large demonstrations to track what may have come from those large demonstrations and protests and see if we had an uptick there. And we're just not seeing that yet, but it might be a little bit early for that data to come through. Okay.
Too, in Shelton, I know we're right around the 2-week mark from some of those peaceful protests in Shelton, too. So interesting to see how that works. What's the timeline on a possible approval for Phase 3?
So the way we wrote the Phase 3 approval was the county will go to Phase 3 not earlier than next Monday, which is the 22nd, or 48 hours after DOH approves. So if DOH does not approve it this weekend, We wouldn't be going live on the 22nd. We would go live 48 hours after DOH approves.
Okay. And when it comes to phase 4, I guess would be the final phase there. That's basically fully reopened with the protections and things like that?
Yes, and the last word I got from the Secretary of Health is to not expect that probably this year. So it's not going to be something that 3 weeks later we're going to be applying for phase 4. We have nothing on the horizon right now that leads us to phase 4.
What are those types of things? Are these like the major sporting events or things like that?
Right. So gatherings of like 250 people or more, the big sporting events, think the big stadiums, colleges, professional ball, that kind of stuff.
What are some of the other things, and I know you got to go here, we'll let you go just after this. What are some of the other things that the health department in Mason County is doing to provide either information to businesses? I know you guys are working close with the EDC, and they've got a lot of documentation for businesses and checklists that they should go through. But on an individual person-to-person basis, the resources on the website for the county have more detailed information on how individuals can continue to protect themselves and their family?
Right. So you go to our county website, and bright red right on the front page of our county website is our COVID-19 tab. Just click on that, and it can take you to any number of resources we have for folks. It gets updated all the time. The other thing you can do is just go to Washington COVID, and that will take you to the state site, and lots of stuff there, especially for businesses.
Very good. Well, Dave Windom, Casey Salisbury, good to talk with you guys this morning, and encouraging news as we are looking for that answer from the State Department of Health on Mason County and Phase 3. You guys have a good one, and we'll check in before too long.
Great talking with you, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.